Hi there, Hidden Asta here. How's it going? Sorry it's been a bit since my Eula video. You might be wondering why it took me so long to bring out this video and where I've been. Anyways, I made a few mistakes during my Eula build video that I need to address, as well as some new information I found out after uploading it. So I wanted to talk about it now. Cue the Maple Story music everyone uses to seem relatable. The first and biggest mistake I made was the Serpent Spine. When I said the Serpent Spine sucked, I didn't actually mean it was a terrible weapon, but that it just sucked for Eula compared to the other two. However, I was actually wrong on both accounts. I originally believed that the secondary effect gave additional attack percent, which is why I didn't mention it in the first video, but it actually increases your overall damage percent, and that completely fucking changes the damage calculations I originally did for the first video. The Serpent Spine, if you are willing to purchase the Battle Pass, is going to be your best in slot 4-star weapon, by a wide margin, and I'm sorry for the misinformation. However, if you are free to play, then the Star Silver and the Slasher will still be the best free to play options. The build that I would recommend for the Serpent Spine is actually the same build that I recommended for the Star Silver, which is the 2-piece set of Pale Flame and 2-piece set of Bloodstained Chivalry, which I misspelled in this script as Bloonstained Chivalry, for those of you who missed the tower defense minigame. Replace the crit rate hat with a crit damage hat, and you should be good to go. So the question now is, do I plan on using the Star Silver still, or am I going to use the Serpent Spine? And the answer is, still the Star Silver. Now, it is completely outclassed by the Serpent Spine, but I really like the design, and I'm a pretty Unga Bunga player, so it'll fit my playstyle pretty well. And that's all I really have to say about the Serpent Spine, and I now want to move on to talking about support characters and team building, because I made a few mistakes there as well. So, first things first, I made a mistake by putting Xingqiu on the Blizzard Strayer team. Because Eula is a Claymore user, she actually causes shatter on frozen enemies, potentially losing you your bonus crit rate. Now it is possible, after shattering an enemy, to still have Cryo applied as long as Cryo was applied before the Hydro, but by playing with Xingqiu on your team, you're just inviting more variables into an already somewhat inconsistent build, and I highly recommend not using Xingqiu for it. A commenter brought this to my attention, and I want to correct or maybe explain something that they said about Shatter, which is that the Blizzard Strayer set won't work on Chongyun or Eula because they lose the 20% crit, and I was confused by this at first as you only get Shatter from frozen enemies and not just enemies affected by Cryo, but I believe they only meant the extra 20% provided for frozen enemies. That doesn't change that the Blizzard Strayer set still offers a free 35% crit rate boost and only means that freezing enemy is still just a terrible idea. Also, if you're wondering, Shatter, while being physical damage, is unaffected by physical damage percent as it's an elemental reaction similar to Melt or Superconduct, so this reaction is actually entirely useless on all three builds, and is probably useless on every build for every character. I can't imagine who would be able to fucking use this shit. Now, this part isn't actually a mistake per se, but these are extra characters who I didn't previously mention, Jinyan, Lisa, and Rosaria, and they're all great support characters for Eula as well. Jinyan is a fantastic pyro support shielder who can double as a sub DPS character. She operates in a similar fashion to Zhongli, in which she mostly just applies shields, while also popping in to do extreme burst damage with her elemental burst, which, if you have Constellation 2, will refresh your shield for you. Her level 3 shield also deals pyro damage to opponents, allowing for the possibility of melt. While you have her at Constellation 4, her elemental skill will lower enemies' physical resistance by 15% as well. I would say that Jinyan would fit well in a party for either the Star Silver or Serpent Spine, although she would be pretty counterintuitive to the Slash's party, as Melt can get rid of your Cryo application, so maybe don't use her there. Next up is Lisa, who I personally will be using as she's very good for single target Superconduct. Thanks to her level 60 Ascension talent, she lowers an enemy's defense by 15% whenever it's hit by her elemental burst, which is pretty fucking good. Her burst does only target one enemy, however, making it not very good for smaller fights unless you for some reason have her at Constellation 4, which allows your burst to hit up to 3 enemies at a time. Despite that, you wouldn't really need much more than just Superconduct to deal with most regular enemies anyways, so you could just use her elemental skill, Hold, to apply Electra to enemies and swing away. I think she's a really good addition to any of the three teams, provided you don't use her burst on the Slashers team, because once again, you will lose your Cryo application. And finally, we've come to Rosaria, and it's really obvious that she's a great cryo support character thanks to her elemental burst. However, I would only ever choose to run Rosaria over a character like Diona under very specific conditions. 1. Your Rosario is C6. 2. You don't have Diona. 3. You fucking want to. It's your account. Don't let me tell you what you can and can't do. Overall, Rosario would work best with just the slasher build, as it allows her superconduct to be easily applied without losing cryo, and if you get her to Constellation 6, her burst will lower opponents' physical resistance by 20%, which is both nice and helpful. So that's pretty much it for all the mistakes that I'm aware of, and once again, I'd like to apologize for fucking up shit in my last video. I don't know if I'll keep making mistakes like this, probably will, but I'm always open to criticism if you explain what I got wrong, and I really appreciate the comments on the last video that told me what I missed out on. So I'd like to specifically thank Koi Nguyen for bringing up Xing Cho and the Shatter effect, Reax for letting me know about the Serpent Spine's passive effect not sucking huge donkey dick, and I want to thank LSPG for bringing Shinyan to my attention. Also, while I'm on the topic of commenters, I'd like to thank Emily Courtney for letting me know that she's my 7th subscriber, I guess. If you're wondering why this was brought up, I was too, and I think it's really funny that I have like 12 subscribers and I was alerted by YouTube about the first one, the 4th one, and the 12th one. And I guess Emily had to do YouTube's job and let me know about number 7, so good looking out for YouTube's trash notification system, Emily. So I hope I didn't fuck up this video, and I hope that you guys got something out of it. That's my bad. And see you in the next video that may or may not be Genshin Impact related. My money's on related though. お前はもう